So before people start joining, I'm going to get the stuff out of the way. For those re-watching the live stream, if you are interested in any of my services and me helping you get to the bottom of what's stopping you from getting your manifestation or helping you create the life you want, check the links down below in the description of this live stream. They'll take you to my website where you can sign up for coaching. If you're interested in any of Katie's tarot stuff or her wax melt stuff or her spells related stuff, check out her YouTube channel, which is also in the description. If you're interested in my second channel, which is about mindset separate to LOA, check out my second channel in the description also. Katie's tarot readings are all back in stock. I don't know what else I have to talk about, but yeah, just waiting for people to join the live. So I am rambling now. Alice says hi, Halloween. Yeah. So we have Katie here. I'll wait until more people join actually before I start saying what we are, just to kind of give it that, let more people know, so we don't have to keep going, oh yeah, this is what we are, this is what we are. For those of you who are currently in right now, if you could just like the video just to get the algorithm going and stuff. I understand that there might be less people today because of it being a Monday, so people might not be able to stay up and watch it, or they might be working, so absolutely fine. Layla says hi. Howdy Layla. And there's, is it Rogan? Yeah, Rogan's in the background. And yeah, I suppose with that, let's get into questions if anybody has any. Like I said, I'm half expecting there to be less people today purely because of the day that it is, because I don't think we've done a live during a weekday.
No, I don't think we ever have.
No, we haven't. Tammy Town says hi. Howdy Tammy Town. Hope you're doing all right. But yeah, we did trick-or-treating with the kids and stuff. It was all right.
It rained on us though.
It rained on us. What day is it today? Monday.
Monday.
I cut my head.
Like that's a real cut.
Like that's real. Obviously that's not, but that's real.
The little tiny one.
Little.
So I'm going to tell the story.
You tell the story.
We did this. So basically, we took the kids swimming, and we were swimming, and the pool that we go to has sort of like a slope. It's kind of like, it's called the wave. So it's like it's got a slope into it. It's kind of like the sea, it waves back on it. And anyway, he thought he was deep enough to do a backflip. He was not deep enough to do a backflip, and he cracked his head on the bottom of the pool. And he stood up and he was like, oh, that was not deep enough to do a backflip. And he was there like patting his head going, it's fine. Bearing in mind, it was like actually just pouring out blood, and he was just wiping it away each time, being like, no, it's fine. And yeah, so anyway, I'm like, right, you need to get out of the pool. You need to go and have it looked at. You really, really need to, because at the time it looked a lot worse than this little tiny blob. And he finally got out of the pool, and 2 minutes later I look over and he's not getting help and he's not having it looked at. He's halfway up the slide to go down the big water slide. And I was like, Matthew, you get down here now. But he did not listen.
I ain't no bitch, that's why. But let's get into some of these statement things then. So Kate says, happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween. Glad to have you here on this amazing day. Dev says, happy Halloween. Also, happy Halloween to you. Top FJS says, how often to affirm all day? ? So it depends on the person, really. I actually really don't affirm all that much anymore. I do the how would I think, feel, and act, and then consciously think, feel, and act in that way. I do affirm in my head a little bit on my way to work in the morning, and sort of sometimes when I wake up, if I'm not like in a rush, and sort of in my head a little bit as I'm falling asleep. But it all depends on the individual. If someone likes affirming and they like sort of taking time to affirm throughout the day, do that. But there isn't a set amount. The most important thing is just reminding, like refocusing yourself back on your end result, whether that's with affirmations or living from the end or whatever. But it's entirely up to you. Ashley Lewis says, hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you too. Alice says, I recently realized that what was holding me back from getting movement with SP was actually, drumroll, my lazy ass. I truly wasn't affirming enough, and I wasn't realizing, lol. How much did you affirm when you were getting Katie back? I affirmed an awful lot. To be honest, it was probably the most desperate I've ever been, shall we say, in terms of a process. I affirmed pretty much all day, and when I wasn't affirming, I was making sure that I had a good mental diet. And it wasn't actually, and that didn't feel good for me. It wasn't until I decided to say, look, I'm going to start working on myself now. So if she comes back, she comes back. If she doesn't, she doesn't. That was when she finally came in. So for me, I actually felt like the constant affirming was actually more detrimental, and it actually made me feel worse to an extent. But yeah, I think for my job, which is probably a better example, I affirmed in pockets of like 10 minutes, probably about 10 times a day, maybe a little bit less. And that one I got quite easily, and that process was a lot better for me. It felt a lot more comfortable to affirm that much for my job. Ashley Lewis said, did the kids go trick-or-treating today? Yes, they did. Not for too long, because we were all over the place at like a Halloween party earlier on, and then so we did for a bit, but
we went twice.
technically,
so, yeah, kind of. We did like 5 houses in like a little street whilst we were at a party, and then came back and went round where we live.
Yeah,
I nearly just said where we lived.
Layla says, happy Halloween, guys. Can you please tell me how tarot fits in with LOA? I love both, but prefer LOA. In my experience, psychics advocate SP's free will and choice, but in LOA, there is no free will. Everyone is pushed out. So my perspective of it all, and I've made videos in the past as to why tarot isn't to be taken as gospel. And the reason being is tarot, and watching Katie do more of her tarot, I will admit that some of my views have slightly changed. I still stand by what I said, but I think tarot can actually be more useful than I used to make it out to be. The reason being is obviously nothing is solid, including you. Like, you're not going to always have the same thoughts. You're not always going to have the same whatever. So I always used to think that the reason that I had a problem with tarot readings was because of the way that people took them as gospel. Whereas if you got something bad in tarot, you should see it as a way where your mind is and that it can shift. If you get something good, then you should see it as good's coming. That's sort of my perspective. And if that is sort of the case, which obviously you can go further into on the tarot stuff, then it fits in perfectly fine, because it's still like the psychic side of it, of like them saying SP has free will, and that's just them, but that's not true. And yeah, tarot can fit quite nicely in, but again, it's all down to you. Nothing is set in stone. But if you want to go further into the tarot stuff, by all means.
Okay, so what I believe is that they pick up on the current energy. So basically, I'm really finding it hard to take myself seriously, but yeah. If you have like a very particular set of thoughts and a very particular set of like the way that you are looking at things, the way that you are feeling things, the way that you are reacting to things, they're going to pick up on that instantly. And they are going to tell you what your path is currently on. So the way that you are thinking, the way that you are feeling, and the way that you are acting, that is what your path is currently on, and that is what you're going to get. I think that they should be used as guidance and as big red flags and warnings, because a lot of the time people don't even realize that if a tarot card says, oh, he doesn't love you, it's because that's what you're thinking, that's what you're feeling, that's what you're doing. So actually, tarots are like, this is you right now. Whenever I do tarot readings for people, especially relationship, I base my questions on a very particular set of sort of questions. So basically, it doesn't matter what you're asking. I ask these questions that gets me the answer to your question. So that is, where are you right now? What are you doing? What are you feeling? And like how are you doing as a person, basically? What is your person doing? So that's external to you. Then what they are feeling currently towards you, what the future is bringing, and what you need to hear. What is your warning? What are you doing wrong? And sometimes that isn't actually related to anything relationship. So like the whole reading will be about your relationship, and then the other one's like, oh, hold on, you're actually experiencing something negative from a relative rather than that person, and you're just mixing it up in your head, sort of thing. But yeah, so basically I think that they should be used as guidance moving forward. Yeah, basically just guidance moving forward. What you need to work on, what needs to change, what needs a bit of like work. A lot of the time as well, when I'm doing a reading and I get sort of like an answer that might be quite negative, it's then very easy to work out what the affirmations need to change to. And a lot of the time, if you have a negative reading, it's your self-concept. But yeah, so it's like, basically, if your tarot cards say so-and-so is cheating on you, that doesn't necessarily mean that so-and-so is cheating on you. But if you continue with the same headspace and the same like things that you are doing, it might come in the future. It's like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and like Katie said, it's all current energy. So
It can be changed within
yeah.
a second, literally within a second. The minute you get that reading, you don't have to say, oh God, that is going to happen to me. You can be like, no, that's not happening. Straight up ignore it, refuse it.
Yeah, so before I get on to the next part, I just want to sort of say something. I think this is probably the most we're going to get, because obviously being the time and stuff, people are at work or other people are asleep because they got school and that. So just like a little thing, we wanted to do a bit more, but we haven't really been able to actually take the time to do it. But we are running a little mini giveaway, I suppose you could say, right now. And it's literally only for the people that are in this stream right now. If you are in the UK and you would like some free wax melts, because Katie Halloween themed wax melts, because Katie also makes them, comment below what you think her favorite color of something to buy is. If you're interested in a 20% discount on any of my services, that includes the video coaching, the premium or basic, the emails, whatever, what is my favorite color? We wanted to do more, but we didn't really have the time with the kids being off and everything. It's actually been a nightmare.
Hell.
So
literally hell.
if it's unfortunately it's only the UK for the wax melts, purely because we don't know the delivery abroad delivery stuffs yet for them. But yeah, if you're interested in being involved, by all means, they're there. If no one is involved now, I'll open it up to people after it's gone live. But yeah, so that's how tarot relates into LOA. The whole stuff about free will as well, just ignore those people. They don't know what they're talking about. And they're putting limited beliefs on you that you don't need anyway. So
a lot of spell books and like witchcraft related things also say people don't have free will, but why would you be able to do spells against them?
Exactly. Okay, so Kate says, do we need to continue to affirm if we're living in the end already? No. If affirmations get you into the state of the wish fulfilled, if you're already living in the end, then you don't need to affirm, because if affirmations aren't what manifests, it's the state they put you in. So if you're already there, you don't need to. JRC, howdy, says, happy Halloween to all and much love at work, but wanted to pop in to say hi and say, everyone hit the like and join Matt subscribers. Absolutely. Hit the like button. Thank you very much, JRC, for the reminder to everyone. You're always helping me out on that front. I appreciate it. AH says, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Because obviously might as well go through it. So Katie is a What is your outfit? I forgot what the cancel culture.
Like social media, like
social media and all that lot,
all of that kind of thing. Like you can't talk.
Yeah. So I think cancel culture is a massive problem. So I really like her outfit, because I think cancel culture is dangerous, is extremely dangerous. And I am, purely because I didn't have an outfit, I am just a nurse, a virus nurse. I'm in a dress.
It's my dress. It looks good.
I'm in a dress, and yeah, it fits quite nicely. I can kind of see why females wear dresses. They're very, very cozy. But yeah, just in case anyone was interested in what we are today, more than happy to go into why I think cancel culture is such a problem, if anyone is interested in that also. Top FJS says, can you talk about observing your thoughts? Like, you can choose to not identify with everything thought, which will take the power away from them. Yeah, so observe, you are the awareness you place on thoughts. You are not thoughts themselves. So you can have a thought, but you don't need to place power on that thought. You don't need to place awareness. You can just go, oh, that's what I'm thinking, and then let it pass. That's all observing your thoughts really is. And then when you want to create something beneficial in your life, you're placing your awareness on thoughts that you do want. You're going, oh, this is a thought that is of my end result. I'm going to place my focus on it. I'm going to give power to it. This is true for me. I'm feeling this in the moment. That's what like observing it is and placing your power is. If it's something undesirable, there's absolutely no reason why you should place focus on it. And if you notice you're having undesirable thoughts, you just accept them and let them pass, because you don't place power on them. If you start panicking and start freaking out and going, I got to get rid of this, I got to get rid of this, you're applying power to that thought, because you wouldn't be freaking out if it wasn't something that you weren't worried about. And I always recommend to use the how would I think, feel, and act if I had my desire, and then start consciously thinking those thoughts, because that's thinking from the end of having your result already. My voice has gone all strange. Empowered Sister says, how much should I affirm throughout the day? I've gotten a lot of movement in so many areas of my life, but sometimes I see things just stale. Not sure if that's a limiting belief or me just being impatient. Probably a bit of both. It doesn't really necessarily mean anything if it's stale, but if you're like associating it as something that's stale, then it's either a limiting belief that you have, or you're just being impatient. It all depends on your situation, which I don't know in regards to what you're saying right there. But You affirm as much as you're comfortable. I personally only affirm in the morning and night, and then occasionally throughout the day when something comes up. Like if I get a new client, I'm like, of course I do. You know, it makes sense, sort of thing. I usually just do the thing that I just said. How would I think, feel, and act? So I wouldn't be affirming I'm rich, but every time I look at my bank account, I'll say to myself, you know, like, of course I got money in there, which is obviously kind of an affirmation in itself, but I'm not just blindly affirming. I'm sort of saying, making statements when situations arise where the version of me who was rich would say these things. So that's how I do it. I tend to just do a how would I think, feel, and act. I don't often do affirmations much anymore, just in the morning and night. But it all depends on you. It all depends on how much you like to affirm, how much success you seem to get from affirming. But in your situation, I would advise that you're probably doing affirmations the right amount if you're already getting a lot of movements in a lot of areas. But maybe, yeah, just try and tone in the need for your desire, and that might help the impatience section. And try and see if you do have any limiting beliefs. Kind of look into your process and say, is this optimal, essentially? AH says, do you recommend self-concept to find out who I really want and go on from there? Or should I keep SP affirmations general? Okay, so if you don't have someone in mind already and you want to find out like sort of the best thing for you, I would advise just going for general best relationship you could have affirmations. So talk about how amazing your relationship with this person is, how they tick all the boxes, they're incredible, they're amazing. And then your subconscious mind will take that and push out someone that fits the description that you're giving it. And yeah, that will be your best bet to get someone that is in line with what you want anyway, without you having to kind of find them first. Layla says, thanks guys. So essentially there is no free will. No, there's not. I believe that everyone has free will in their reality that they're in right now, but we shift realities constantly. So the reason that no one has free will isn't because you're changing them. It's because you're shifting to a reality in which they're already acting the way that you want them to be. So it's not a case of everyone has free will because you're controlling them. It's no one has free will. Sorry, it's not a case of no one has free will because you're controlling them. It's a case of no one has free will because you're the one moving. None of these people matter in terms of like how they are, because you're shifting realities to match what it is that you want. And they were already doing that thing in that reality anyway, because there's infinite realities with infinite possibilities. That's what I believe. Thanks, guys. Oh, sorry. AH says, I wish I could join the UK giveaway, and Matt's favorite is blue. It's not blue. Close though, kind of. And yeah, like it's a color. Yeah. I wish.
Yeah, I really wish that I could do it for more than the UK, but I don't know the like shipping rules and things like that. I don't know how, because it's like a wax. I don't know. I know that there's particular rules with food, and I know that wax is not food, but I don't know what sort of ingredients aren't allowed into. I need to do a lot of research into it basically before I can start doing any kind of other shipping.
Yeah. And then the other factor, which isn't a problem for a giveaway, but the other factor as well is if we're doing cross-country deliveries, the delivery cost will have to be a lot higher. So therefore the prices will become a lot higher, and it kind of just makes a bit of a pain in the ass. I got a line of white.
There's also like this really weird rule in the UK where wax melts cannot look like food. And I don't know whether that is anywhere else. But yeah, fun fact for you. There is lots of people who make food like wax melts. So, yeah. But yeah, apparently it is against food standards and the law here.
But yeah, so I wish we could help you out on that, but unfortunately my favorite color is not blue. You can still guess again. I'm not going to say that you can't again, but yeah, unfortunately it is not blue. Top FJ says, thought Matt was a Minecraft creeper. Lol. Oh, I see where you're coming from with that, actually. Yeah, no, not quite. This is like I said, this was literally just something that Katie had in her closet. I really wanted to go as Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. I was going to buy the outfit and everything, but then I ended up taking Kate and the kids swimming yesterday, and I was just like, I can't justify buying a costume the same day that I like blow a shit ton of money on restaurants and swimming and stuff. So then I just like, Katie, get me this, make me look a bit pale. It's like she was like, let me just do this. Although it kind of looks like a lady. Do you see it? That's the arm. She's like sitting like that.
Yeah, I do see that. Nice.
You know what she looks like? Have you seen Final Destination 3?
Yeah.
You know the chain that he wears? The guy that gets the blade at the back of the head. Yeah. The chain that he wears. It looks like that.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Horror movie talk. AH also says, I love both of your outfits. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John M says, what do you think of the fake letter /email method to receive a job offer? I think it
it's
works.
brilliant.
Yeah, I think if it can get you on board, if you can, at least in the moment when you receive it, be like, oh, wow, this is my job offer. Absolutely go for it. It's no different to scripting, really. It's no different to a spell. It's nothing like, it's no different. It's something that gets you thinking and feeling from the end of having it. So absolutely, if you like it, give it a go. John M also says, sending yourself a fake email with the details you want. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think it absolutely give it a go. Ashtown Love says, hi, Matt and Katie. Long time no see. Love the outfits. Yeah, it has been a little while, but thank you for showing up today. And thank you. Yeah, the outfits again. They're very cool, but they're both Katie's.
It is pouring down right now.
I'm glad we're not out. I can't hear it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Ashley Lewis says, what is the perfect manifestation routine? That depends on the person. Everyone has like a different preference. Like some people love visualization. Some people love affirmations. I'll give you mine. I've already kind of given it a few times, but I'll give it again just in case you weren't here. My routine literally consists of, you having fun with that balloon, Ray Ray? My routine, she is. My routine literally just consists of, the cat is beating up the balloon. Well, she was beating it up and Kate got her attention. My routine consists of, waking up in the morning while my subconscious mind is most receptive, because my conscious mind is in alpha brainwave state. I do like sort of 10 minutes ish of affirmations and stuff in my head if I have the time to, but not kind of always. Oh, now she's playing with it again. Then I'll kind of get up and go about my day. While I'm walking to work, I might do a couple of affirmations if I feel like it. But then as I'm going throughout the rest of my day, I kind of just ask myself, how would I think, feel, and act if I had my desire? And then I think, feel, and act in that way. For example, let's say that I really wanted to earn more money or manifest more money. And when I look at my bank account, I will literally think of like, how would someone think if they were rich? I'd look at my bank account and go, it's actually so cool to have so much money in my account. How would someone feel if they were like, didn't have a lot of money in their account right now, but they really wanted to buy something? Or sorry, how would I feel if I was rich and really wanted to buy something? Well, regardless of how much money I've got in my account, I would go buy it. So I kind of think, feel, and act in that way. And then before I go to sleep, or as I'm falling asleep, I usually do a few more affirmations again, because obviously the subconscious mind is most receptive then. And that's my general routine. And it's actually the best routine that I have at the moment. It's the one that gets me the most success in sort of like the most effortless way. But some people absolutely love affirming all day. Some people love just scripting and reading scripts. It all depends on the individual. Ashton, go on.
I was going to say mine. So one thing that I do like sort of religiously is script at work. Like I don't have like a full routine that I do every single day, but one thing I do every single day, like every single time I'm at work, is script. So like that's my one and only routine. So it might be that you don't have to have like a full day's routine, but you do a particular thing when you are somewhere. So like I script when I'm at work. I affirm while I'm in my bedroom in front of the mirror, sort of thing. So it might not be about planning out a whole day worth of like manifesting, but maybe just like working out where you do your particular things and then doing them there every time you're there.
Ashton Love also says, also happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you too. John M says turquoise. Now he doesn't specify who, so I'm going to assume he's guessing that for either. Neither of our favorite colors is turquoise. Dev says Matt's favorite color is black or purple. Neither of my favorite colors are black or purple. Random name says howdy, 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 howdy. Glad to have you here. Geetha says, hey, love the costume. Katie's makeup is 100%. I think Matt's favorite color is purple. So yeah, Katie's makeup is really cool. She actually did that herself by just looking in a mirror, which is really impressive. Obviously, you guys can't see it because it's backwards, but that says void on here.
No, actually, when they see it, it's the right way. It's just our screen that shows us backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
If you open the live on your phone, then yeah. Oh,
I got away from an advert. Sorry, guys. I know the adverts aren't fun. I mean, I believe you, but I want to see it for myself. Anyway, what was the other thing they said? And Matt's favorite color is purple. No, it's not purple. But yeah, her makeup she does all herself, and it's impressive. Oh yeah, it is the right way. That's really cool.
It is, isn't
it?
Although this makes it look like I'm permanently smiling, which is making me smile.
Random name says Final Destination for the win. I only like the third one. Not a big fan of any of the others. I think they're all a little bit meh. But
I feel like it ruined Drivers Forever. Final
First
destination.
one, yeah.
Just ruined driving.
Yeah.
Never ever drive behind anything big now, ever.
Mm.
Even if it hasn't got loose things on it, I just can't. It's too big. I'm not driving near it.
And then random name also says tan in bed death is iconic. Yeah, I like the tan in bed death. I think I like the nail gun death, even though it doesn't actually physically make sense. Well, I don't know if it does in that, like whether or not the nail gun should use, but most nail guns come with a sort of safety feature because I've done like quite a lot of work with nail guns in the past. Most of them come with like a little thing, so it wouldn't have just happened where it's just gone in the back of their head without like anyone actually triggering it. But I'm not mad. Top FJS says, I was feeling depressed, but I got myself out of it by affirming that I'm happy, positive, and optimistic. That this kind of made me feel like mental illness is not a real thing. What are your thoughts? Okay, so this is a very controversial question, and I'm going to give a very controversial answer. I don't think mental illness should be something that stops you. I'm not going to say that they don't exist because everyone deals with things differently, but under no circumstance do I think that mental illness should be something that stops you from manifesting, at least. Whether it stops you from kind of getting through life, I'm not going to make a comment because I don't personally have a mental illness. A lot of people, including my mum and Katie, think that I have ADHD, but I don't. And I've never let it get in my way, even if I do. But I can't really speak for anything else like depression and such. But I do genuinely think that they shouldn't, in theory, stop you from getting your manifestations. Whether they stop you from going through life, different story. Manifestations, I don't think it gets in the way.
So I actually have had many different depressions and thingies. And I agree with you that I can actually pull myself out of it by just affirming that I am okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody can. And I think that there are definitely days where I would not have been able to do that. Especially before meeting Matt, like I had a much different kind of life and stuff. And I was very much in a very, very bad way all of the time. And there would definitely be days then where I could not have just been like happy now, but now I can. And like, yeah, like sort of before I have been able to, but I don't think it means that they don't exist. I definitely, knowing myself, do know that they do exist. I do think that a lot of sort of mental health issues can be, I guess, easier to cope with than people think, but they're just not receiving the right support. And I think that's what it is. I think there's a massive lack of actual support. And I think a lot of the time what happens to people is they go to the doctors, it's just, here you go, medication, off you go. And then you end up a little bit sort of like zombified sort of thing, and just off you go, and you just continue with your life. And like, I definitely for a very long time lived in a state of survival where basically my medications was just making me just fine sort of thing. But there is really, really not a lot of actual genuine support for people to actually overcome it, because all the medication can do for a lot of people is just hold it at bay. And it's just, you know, you've got a full cup and it's just below the top sort of thing. And it just manages, the medication just manages to keep it from overflowing. And that's all it does. Whereas in order to actually be able to work through a lot of like mental health conditions and stuff like that, you need genuine, real counseling, therapy, support. Like, you need to learn how to get rid of it, like, sort of thing. And sometimes it doesn't go, but I think for some people, definitely, if they did know about like Lawofassumption and stuff like that, they would be able to pull themselves out of these kind of like feelings. But again, it doesn't work for everybody, and everybody's levels are different. Everybody's cup nearly full is a different level sort of thing. So yeah, they definitely do exist. I wouldn't say that mental health, like, I wouldn't just make the assumption that they don't exist. For me, I make the assumption that I don't have them. But yeah, I think that explains what I meant.
Geetha says,
rambly.
Geetha says, do you just change states by just changing what you're focusing on? How do you just keep staying in that state? So a state is essentially what you assign yourself to be. So if I was a rich person, anything involving money, I would think and act as a rich person. That means I'm in the state of being rich, essentially. Placing your focus on something is kind of like creating a new assumption, which is placing your focus on something and being in the state is slightly different. And I don't know how to explain it, but if you were to like test it yourself, you know what I mean? Because you can still be broke, but putting your focus on having money, or you could become someone who does have money, you know, like in mentally, it's slightly different. The more that you focus on things that you want, the more they will start to come up, and then you will naturally like have them as assumptions, or they will start to turn into natural assumptions, and therefore they will continuously come. And then stepping into the state of having it is a lot easier. But I think placing your focus on something is the first step for someone that's kind of new to the whole process, or to someone that doesn't quite understand how to just simply shift into something else. And yeah, like I say, and I say this all the time, so you guys are probably getting sick of it, ask yourself that question: how would I think, feel, and act if I was the person who had what it is that I want? And then think, feel, and act in that way, because then you are taking on think of state like a persona. You're taking on the persona of the person who has what you want. And that's essentially what state is. But placing your focus on stuff in a beneficial way is living in the end more than being in the state of the wish fulfilled, even though they're very, very similar. There's a slight difference, which hopefully I explained well enough in that, which I probably didn't.
We are tired.
AH says, I manifested my ex to move on to focus on my SP because we were so toxic, but he told me yesterday, that he moved on and it hurt me so much. I'm so confused on to which man to focus on. I manifested my ex to move on to focus on my SP because we were so toxic, but he told me yesterday, he had moved on and it hurt me so much. I'm so confused on which man to focus on. I thought I'd be happy because it's a bridge of incidents. So sorry, I don't know if I'm miss. So you wanted your ex to move on to leave rooms for you and your specific person to get together, but now that your ex has moved on, now you're feeling hurt by it. Is that what you meant? If you could just clarify that before I sort of give an answer. And no, green is also not my favorite color, because you say that a couple comments down. Random name says mental illness is real, but it is a circumstance just like everything else. You are still the upper power. Absolutely. And that's why I don't think anything should really get in the way of manifestation, at least. Whether, like I said, general day-to-day life, maybe. Manifestation, I don't think it should get in the way. Dev says Matt's favorite color is red or green. Nope. Probably white. Nope. Dev was wrong on that. Random name says, thank God there's some delay time for manifestation. Low. I would have been dead in some freak accident from watching Final Destination a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, your subconscious mind is pretty much built to keep you safe. So for the most part, I don't think it would impress things to make you die, but yeah,
it might.
You never know.
You never know.
Talking about it now. If random name doesn't show up to the next stream, we've accidentally Final Destination him. Carolina says, SP rang me last night after a night out. I missed his call. I know it's movement. I've been in a good state for a long time. So much movement, but feeling so anxious all day. Can't pinpoint why. So you've got loads of movement. You've been in a good state, but you're feeling anxious. I think maybe, and it's going to sound a bit goofy, are you anxious of getting what you want? Because I've had this before with self-help books. I've been scared to finish a self-help book because it means I've actually got to go fucking help myself. And that's actually a true story. There's been times when I've been like, I really don't want to finish this last page, because once I do, I have to start putting it into play. And it's a lot more comfortable for me to read how to do it as opposed to actually doing it. And then I would get mildly anxious. So is that potentially a possibility?
Either that, or have you like not... Because I'm assuming you've like missed a call, and then have you messaged like, oh, I missed your call, or anything like that? Maybe you're anxious because you don't know like what it is, yeah, sort of thing.
John M says, what was the point of Final Destination? That you can't cheat death? Essentially, yeah, it was just a fun way of just killing people in different fancy ways, basically, and then going, it's because death can't be cheated, and then it's like, oh, okay. But yeah.
What was that really cool film that we watched the other day that was the same sort of concept? Oh, Countdown. That's another one. That's Countdown very much like Final Destination. But so basically it's like a phone app, and it counts down to when you're going to die, and then people would like try and stop themselves dying, and then it comes after them anyway, but it's an actual thing that comes after them rather than just like they die. Yeah.
It's a cool film. Actually, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Tammy Town says, what do you think... everyone's commenting now. It's like jumping. Tammy Town says, what do you think? Is it more difficult to manifest multiple things at once than manifest only one thing at a time? I think it is much more difficult to manifest one thing at a time, purely because when you are manifesting one thing, and this is all my personal preference, when you're manifesting one thing at a time, your focus is entirely on this thing, and there can become this level of need and an attachment to this desire, because when it's the only thing that you are focusing on, you can sometimes be like, well, I kind of need this thing in order for me to be okay. I'm tired of focusing on this only thing. Hurry up and come. But when you're focusing on multiple different things, it becomes a lot easier. Think of it like this. Let's say that I live an average life and I'm focusing solely on my specific person. Because my life is average, I'm going to notice that they're not there as much. I'm going to notice the lack of them. I'm going to notice that my life kind of sucks and it's just bleh. But if I live an average life and I'm focusing on money, career, person, physique, after like 2 months of doing it, yes, 2 months might have gone by, but I would start making progress with my physique. I'd like to think that, maybe some money has started coming in and I can have more fun with it. I might be sort of in the runnings for a raise. And then all of a sudden, these three things added together make it so that my specific person not having any movement isn't such a daunting thing. But if you're in such a stale life because you're not focusing on anything and your specific person still isn't conforming, you can notice it even more. So I genuinely think it is much easier to manifest multiple things at once than it is to manifest just one thing. Random Name says, yeah, you escape death, and then there's some supernatural force that'll keep you in check and kill you again anyway. Yeah, basically the concept of the film. Alan says, do you guys think if you're manifesting an SP, you should affirm you can be happy with or without them, even if you feel like you're being too dependent on them? I think that's a good idea if you're being desperate. That's what I did for Katie, as I sort of mentioned in a couple of my videos and stuff. I got to a point where I was like, I'm clearly needing to work on myself a bit more. So I started telling myself, I'm like, if she never comes back again, I'm good. I'm gonna go live my life. And it was pretty much after I'd let go of the need for this thing, she finally came in. So I think it's actually quite helpful. D says, D says, I've just been taking 10 minutes out of my day once or twice to just focus on my affirmations and just being going about my day naturally. Yes, that's good. That's pretty much what I do. I do it at specific times, but yeah, that's pretty much what I do, other than the how would I think, feel, and act thing. Matt Schwartz says, hi, howdy, Matt Schwartz. Glad to have you here. AH says, yeah, I meant that. Okay, what was it that you said? I gotta go back to it. Okay, so I think, and I'm going to go in a bit of a psychology on this one instead. Well, not necessarily psychology, but more of like a thought process as opposed to manifestation. I think maybe you're only hurt because of the attachment that you had to him. When there's toxic relationships, there's usually trauma bond as opposed to like a healthy relationship. And quite often it can be very difficult to let go of a trauma bond. It can suck, it can hurt. I genuinely don't think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't mind, but I genuinely don't think you actually want your ex. I think you just kind of are scared to be without that trauma, because people thrive on it. People need drama and trauma and stuff once they've experienced it before. This is why it's comfortable for people who have maybe grown up in quite unhappy households to then go and pursue the same thing, because it's comfortable, it's what they're familiar with. So in my personal opinion, and nothing to do with LOA, I think the need that you have for your ex-partner, especially if it was toxic, either shift what it is that was toxic about them so that it's actually a happy relationship, or just cut them off. Either change it to be something worth having or go for this new person, because I genuinely believe that you're probably only trauma bonded if it's toxic, and if you can openly admit that it's toxic here, and therefore it's not the best thing for you, in my personal opinion. Take that as you will, but I would advise going for the new person in this instance. Sprinkled Peace Donut says, do I have to specifically say that SP is contact me for him to contact me? No. So if you want just contact and potentially nothing more, contact is what you should be focusing on. But in order for you, if you were to go straight to the end result of being with this person, in order for them to get with you, they must talk to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be through contact as in like a text or a call, but you might bump into each other. You might be invited out by a mutual friend. They might contact you. There are literally like infinite possibilities on how they're going to get in touch with you in order to reconcile, if you were to get in a relationship. That if the relationship cannot happen with some form of reconciliation or some form of contact. Therefore, if you're to focus on contact, especially a specific form of contact, you're going to have to basically have the universe play by the rules of what you're feeding it of this thing, which it can do, like by all means. But when you go straight to the end, not only is there like infinite possibilities, potentially making it work out in your favor quicker, who knows, but also you're guaranteed to get your end result when you're focusing on your end result. If you focus on contact, you get contact, and then you have to go focus on the end result. And a lot of people trip up because they get the contact, but nothing more. And then they start to spiral because they're like, well, I'm getting shit behavior. What do I do? And it's because they focused on the contact. So no, you don't necessarily have to focus specifically on contact to get contact, but you have to be focusing on a step further than contact in order to get contact or contact itself. Alan says, do you believe in ghosts? I do not. I'm pretty sure my belief on ghosts is considering that energy is everything and energy is transmutable. There would be no substance holding it in place. It basically goes against the second law of thermodynamics. So I do not believe in ghosts. And I deliberately walk through the house at night in the dark, hoping to get jumped by a ghost, just to prove to myself. I've literally said it, haven't I? I've gone downstairs. Like, there's a ghost there. Come at me. Like I don't believe in ghosts. I'm not scared of the idea of a ghost. If there is a ghost, then I'm probably gonna shit myself because I can't fight it. But I'll go out swinging, you know. I don't care.
You'll at least try.
I'll at least try, but no, I don't believe in ghosts.
Maybe if you threw water at them.
How would that work?
I don't know. I just feel like
You just go through it the same way that.
no.
Matt Schwartz says, I have no question, just here to support you and say thanks for showing up every week and helping everyone. You guys look great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words and the support from you. It means a lot. And we've had you here, Matt, from like, I think maybe the first or second stream. Like you've been around for a long time. So I really appreciate the constant support. And yeah, lovely outfits. We look awesome. Katie's outfit's so cool. And I love the fact it's against cancel culture. So cool. Dev says, Matt, just give me a discount already. It's a color. There's like 10 to pick from. Just get it right.
There is not many.
I won't be
I'm
specific.
trying to think what hasn't been guessed yet.
My favorite color. Like I said, I'm not going to stop you guys from guessing. So you can literally just go through the fucking rainbow for all I care.
And any UK people guess my favorite thing to buy?
Yeah.
Color to buy, not thing to buy, sorry. And you can get some wax melt.
Yeah, for free.
The little pumpkins are so cute. They're so cute.
They are nice. And they smell nice. Carolina says, yes, I think it's the missing the call. I text him, was everything okay? I was asleep and he said it was just, it was just my bridge of incidents, but I feel like I missed the call and I didn't know why he rang. So this is the cool thing. You didn't miss the call. Like, yes, you may have physically missed the call, but if that's a call that you missed and it's part of your bridge of incidents, it's not the only call that's going to happen. It's still going to happen. The only way that you can miss out on things is if you actively choose not to go for it. But if you missed it due to uncontrollable circumstances that you didn't put in place, it is not the end of the world. It's not going to be a thing that causes you to lose out. But as I've sort of said in like videos and stuff, if it's not your end result, it doesn't require your focus. If it's in line with your end result, it does. I think the fact that he called you is the thing that you should be having focus on, and not necessarily the fact that you missed it. It's all in like the perception and the way that you frame it to yourself. Dev says, you don't have free will. I do, just that you'll just flip to reality in which I'm already doing the thing that you want. Big brain. Ugh. Touch like the bloody stuff.
Mate,
No, that's grim. No.
That
Carolina says, so that I missed something because I didn't pick up. No, you like I said, you haven't missed it. It's all good. Keep focusing on the end result. It'll come. Dev says, why don't you call him back? Because that's partially pushing the 3D. I mean, I can see why, if he obviously called her, why that would be the thing, but I don't think she needs to. If she wants to, by all means. This wouldn't be a situation in which I'd say, no, you shouldn't, but I don't think she needs to. She's clearly being chased, so I think she deserves to enjoy being chased a bit more. Ishita, sorry if I've said that wrong. I haven't got my glasses on and I can't read. Can we manifest things by a specific time? You can, but the problem with manifesting by a specific time is a lot of people get too caught up on the time. So as time is getting closer, they start to panic more. And then that panicking comes from a separation of having their desire. So you can manifest by a specific time by sort of stating, you know, I've got my thing right now, or I got my thing by this date or something, but you run the risk of it actually not coming purely because you might end up panicking about the time. D says, a few of my old friends that I fell out of touch with, was manifesting for one of them to reach out to me, have been coming back since I'm focusing on self-concept. Just feels like movement in SP region 2. Sorry, I have to reread that. A few of my old friends that I fell out of touch with, was manifesting for one of them to reach out to me, have been coming back since I'm focusing on SC. Just feels like movement in SP region 2. That's good.
yeah, it is movement.
Yeah. Enjoy it. D says, oh, Katie, what's your beverage of choice tonight?
Oh, this is toffee apple cider.
This camera's like really. There we go.
Yeah, toffee apple cider.
Actually, I'm gonna put that
It's
back.
actually quite strange. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure if I like. I know I have drank like a whole glass of it. Not fully sure if I like it, but it's very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're beautiful says make sure you like the video. Yeah, if we could all like the video, it pushes it out to the algorithm, gets me more views, gets me more revenue, and therefore I can do these more regularly because I plan to. When I drop my next day at work, I will be doing a live stream, which I'm thinking I'll either drop Thursdays or potentially Tuesdays. I'm thinking if I drop Tuesdays, that will be a big enough gap from the previous live stream. Whereas Thursday will only be 2 days, but where if it's Tuesday, I've got Sunday and Monday without a live stream, and then Tuesday. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to drop a Tuesday, and then I'll do a live stream every Tuesday and Saturday for you lot. So yeah, it all helps me out, and in return, I kind of obviously help you out as a result. So if you could like the video, really helps, or like the stream, really helps. John
was just loving your arm.
She was, yeah. John M says orange, not quite orange. JRC says black, not quite black. Geetha says maybe pink. Are you talking? Sorry, those three, the orange, black, and pink. Are you talking about me or Katie or both? If you could reference. Geetha says pink. Geetha, can you specify whether you mean me or Katie? Random name says I think Katie's favorite color is red/dark red, and Matt's is orange. Nope, neither of those are correct. This is quite interesting. I like this. Ashley Lewis has got it right. My favorite color is, in fact, yellow. So, Ashley, if you drop me an email, let me know what service you would be interested in receiving a 20% discount for. We can get started just on that. So, well done. If any, I might do another one. Now that naming my favorite color, I have to think of something else.
Oh yeah, new question.
Yeah, I'll think of another one, and if so, I might do a 10% discount for anyone that's interested. But yeah, Ashley Lewis, if you don't have my email, put it in the comments below and I'll send it, but it should be like quite easy to find. I think, have we emailed before? I email a lot of people, so apologies if I've forgotten. Occult Cat TV says, what's up, Matt? Hope you're having a beautiful Samhain. What's that? Yeah, the day's been quite good. Yeah, could you Google?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Oh, it's like a Northern Hemisphere thing. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, the day's been really good, and Katie's having a good day as well. So thank you very much for showing up again and wishing us a happy Samhain. I've never heard that word before, so you learn something new every day.
It's a Gaelic festival marking the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you very much for showing up in sport and teaching me something new. Carolina says, thank you. That's an interesting point you made when you said if you deliberately choose not to answer, let's say, would that then mess things up, or would it still count as bridge of incidents? So that's a very interesting question. I don't think it would like deliberately mess things up. I think it would just mean that there would need to be put something in place, but you would probably have to go back to focusing on the end result to make sure it's impressed. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I know for 100% sure whether or not your subconscious mind will go, well, they said no, therefore that's it, game over. But I would be more inclined to believe that that wouldn't be the case. I'm more inclined to believe that if you've impressed it and you choose not to, then you'll probably still find yourself down that route anyway at some point.
I feel like it would be part of your bridge of incidents. I feel like maybe it would be inspired action, because surely anybody who's after a person would choose to answer.
Oh yeah,
unless there was a very valid reason, like you were, I don't know, at an appointment or nervous or whatever, but it would still feel like it would be what you needed to do in that moment. So it would still be the path that it was taking, because it would be what you needed to do rather than you just being like, nah, not answering how we asked. Sort of thing.
But she's saying, assuming she chose not to. That was like theoretical. So she saw the call and went, meh. Basically.
But she didn't.
No, but she's saying in a theoretical situation.
Oh, okay, yeah, but like even if like in a theoretical, if you chose not to answer it, it would still be part of.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't think your subconscious mind will be like, well, that's that then game over. I'd probably still have more tricks up its sleeve, shall we say. So yeah, I would probably be inclined to believe it'd still be part of your bridge of incidents if we're answering like out of that you suggested. Probably got about another 10 minutes or so. Why?
Okay, I'm just gonna put some food.
Okay, cool. Okay, it's gonna go make food because we haven't eaten it. Yay. Alan says, "All right." Oh shit. Alan says, all right, Matt, in my opinion on subliminals is that they do indeed work to an extent. I mostly use them for my appearance, so it's kind of hard to believe in them when you might be seeing something different in the mirror every day. But the things that I mostly don't care about do manifest well, such as clear skin and healthier hair. Oh, I also joined the membership again. Yeah, I saw that you did, which is why I didn't say anything else further after the original message. So yeah, that's all good. Yeah, so I believe subliminals work. Katie and I have had success. I have an amazing subliminal app on my phone, which I actually am in conversation about getting a promo code for you guys, should you guys want it, I think. I still need to hear back properly about when it's all set up and everything, but soon I will have something available for you guys to download a subliminal app if you're interested. And I honestly, this app is sick. I'm properly happy with it. So I use it myself. So obviously I don't give you guys anything that I don't use. But yeah, I 100% on board with subliminals. I tested them like a few months back with Katie, because I think it was actually Matt Schwartz, I think maybe, asked me about them. And yeah, I tested them out, liked them back then. Then I got approached by the person who is involved in this app. They said, you know, you willing to try it, sort of thing, gave it a try, and literally near enough immediately started seeing improved results in what I was trying. And the subliminals on the app are really cool. So when I know more about like the promo code / affiliate link / whatever, then I'll present it to you guys properly, because if there is a promo code, obviously I want you guys to get it at the discount. I don't want to be telling you about it now, then you guys go paying full price when I'm about to go get a discount for it. So subliminals are great. I definitely recommend them. Oh, we have a donation. Occult Cat TV donated $11.11. Is that how it is in dollars? $11.11. Thank you very much, Occult Cat TV. I really appreciate that. And I like the fact that you use the synchronicities again, because obviously last time you donated $7.77, I think, so it's 777. So I really appreciate the donation. That's very kind of you. They say, happy Sam Haines, and then in brackets, Halloween. What's your favorite thing about manifestation? What was your journey like? Favorite aspect of your manifestation and where you see yourself going with it? Mass love, fam. Well, I really, really appreciate that. Could you, if you don't mind, let me know if you're male or female, just because I don't want to accidentally say she and it's a guy, and or guy and or he and it's a girl. So I know it's kind of off topic. I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, so my favorite thing about manifestation is the fact that I have control. Even before I got into LOA, I've always been very independent. I was kicked out of my grand's house at 16 and forced to go into foster care. I lived in a couple of places. One of the places was awful. Like, literally, I had to eat my dinner out my hands because she hid the plates and stuff. Like, it was really bad. And I ended up going into independent living at 16. So being a 16-year-old with no family, because my mum and I didn't speak too much at that time. We did on occasion, but not that much. So I had next to no family. I was completely abandoned. The girlfriend that I had at the time, like, physically abused me. Like, my face was all scratched and awful. I was very alone. And because of this, I grew up to have very much an independency complex. I had to do everything myself. I struggled to ask for help. I did everything myself. And I felt like I was finally in control of my own life. If I didn't want to go to a job interview because I weren't interested, I didn't go. If I wanted to go stay up all night, I stayed up all night. Who was going to stop me? I was a 16-year-old living in my own place, doing whatever I wanted to do. And because of this, I gained this element of needing to be in control. And in some instances, it did actually, you know, have some negative effects on me. And for example, in some of my relationships and stuff. But I grew up to have this very much I'm in control of my life complex. And when I came across manifestation, it was exactly that. Not only was I in control, but I could actually create the things that I wanted. So not only was I in control to do what I wanted, I was also in control to be able to have a life that I always dreamed would have and thought I never would accomplish. So my favorite thing about manifestation is 100% the level of control. Now I don't see it as control as in like, you know, I'm, you know, clawing into everything. Now I see it more as like conscious dictation. But yeah, that's my favorite thing about manifestation, is the fact that nothing can stop me. What was your journey like? So from the beginning of my journey, I was in the law of attraction, didn't really have much success with it. Had like the occasional thing, but I found the vibration thing caused me more problems than it solved. Oh, I haven't even got a top on under this dress. Sorry, I was going to tuck it in. Yeah. So I had like a little bit of success, but not much. And overall, the thing that I was trying to manifest at the time, I just couldn't seem to get my head around how to make it work. And then dropped it for a little while, got back into it when I went to go live with my mum for a bit. And then got some successes with it then, but nothing too substantial to make me be like, yeah, this 100% works. Like, this is like my thing. And I kind of used it on and off for a couple of years, gradually getting some things. And then I went into a very, very poor point, like very bad spiral point. I let my self-concept get the worst of me, because at this point in my journey, I was able to manifest the occasional specific thing, but I never really focused on self-concept. So when my self-concept hit the floor, I didn't know what to do. I managed to finally claw it back out. And then it got to a point where I was kind of on a better level, shall we say. And then from there, it's just been pretty much success after success after success. And obviously, as you guys know, got Katie, got my job, got my pay rise, got my successful business. There's a few other things in the background that I don't really talk about. Not even Katie really knows them, because it's kind of like my things, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much my journey. And favorite aspect of that manifestation, I already gave that one. And where you see yourself going with it, mass love, fam. Okay, so as many of you will know, I do obviously LOA. Just in case you weren't aware, I do have an LOA channel. But yeah, so I have the LOA channel, but I also do have the Becoming Something Better channel. So I'm 100% an advocate for general mindset shifts as well, because when you have a mindset shift external to LOA, it builds your self-concept. For example, let's say that someone who doesn't know anything about LOA was to build a business, start making really good money, and then start kind of parading the town feeling like $1 million or whatever, because they have all of this money in their pocket. They feel good because they've got a successful business. Regardless of if they know about LOA, they're going to have a built-up self-concept. They're going to think, I'm worthy of people because look, I've got this like really successful business. I've got all this money. I can do whatever I want. I can have whatever I want. So external to LOA, they will still have the results of LOA by working on their self-concept. They might not do the specific of living in the end, but by having these assumptions that if I do this with this business, it will make the business grow and yada, yada, yada. They're still utilizing assumptions. They're still utilizing LOA. They're still utilizing self-concept, even if they don't know about it. There are a few people that I've come across already that don't think LOA is worth listening to, but are happy to listen to self-improvement. So I created a self-improvement channel to try and work on that aspect of it as well. So my goals with manifestation from here is, I think my next big ones, make this channel grow so that I can earn enough income from it to quit my job full time. So that's the next big goal. Second goal is to make the second channel big enough to be helping people. And the third biggest goal, I suppose, is moving house. Those are like my next three things. I'm hoping to have accomplished all of them within the next year. And yeah, so a bit of a long thing, but definitely warranted the very generous donation. So thank you very much. A Colt said, masculine, what's up? Fam's name's O'Shea. Oh, okay, cool. So he, a Colt TV also says, we've been through a very similar journey. You taught me a lot about self-concept. Thank you for that. Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad to have helped. Obviously, that's the whole point of the channel, is to help people. So I'm really glad to have, not only that we share a similar journey so that you kind of know what it's like to be me a little bit, I suppose, but also the fact that I've helped you out as well. And you've been very kind to donate 2 streams in a row. So thank you very much, O'Shea. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to have you here supporting the channel. Now time to get back to where I was. Oh, D deleted his messages. Carolina says, so that I missed something because I couldn't pick up. Oh, I already answered that part. Sorry. Dev says, why don't you call him? Oh, we already done all this. I need to get to where I actually was. Oh, wow. I went way further back than we actually were. Ishita, apologies if I'm saying that wrong, says, okay, thank you so much. You're very welcome. Carolina also says, because I have to admit, I seen the call, but it was 4 a.m. So I was technically asleep, so I didn't answer. That sounds quite interesting, Katie, about the cider. Okay. So yeah, I think I would genuinely say that like that isn't you messing up. I would probably say that you're still in your bridge of incidents. Just keep persisting in the end result. You can get it. I would not worry. And yeah, she swapped to something else now.
Oh, now it's just Pepsi.
It's just Pepsi.
Oh, that was D that put the next bit. You read it as it was 1 comment, but it was 2 comments.
Was it? Hang on, where are we? Oh, I've lost it again.
There you are.
Oh, yeah.
So D said that sounds quite interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. I wouldn't buy it again, but it was nice.
Apologies, I'm very blind. So D said that, not Carolina. Carolina said the part about like the 4 a.m. call, and then D said the part about it sounds quite interesting. Geetha says Katie's color. Oh, Kate. So Geetha said something. Hey!
Yes,
Geetha
you're
won.
right.
So Geetha, because I don't think we've spoken directly, if you could email me the address to send it to, Katie will get it all together and send it to you. So Geetha got Katie's favorite color right. It is pink. So my favorite color is yellow, because I always had a crush on the Yellow Ranger as a kid, and Katie's favorite color is pink. So
To buy things in.
To buy
wear
things in.
is different. but-
So we'll have to think of another thing for the next stream. We might just do one every week. I'll just give like a 10% discount off every single week.
Giveaway.
Yeah. So yeah, Geetha, I'll put it in the chat here because just in case you don't have it, and same goes for the other person who won, which I think was Ashley Lewis, if I'm not incorrect. Sorry, I know I'm going a bit off course with the stream here, so I do apologize for those of you who are waiting. I'm going to put it below. Lawofassumption's backdoor at gmail.com. And there's if you two can send me the emails and we'll go from there with the thingy. So thank you everyone who participated. I'm probably going to start doing these more just to give you guys something else to do in the streams. Like each week I'll do like a 10% discount or something, because obviously, yes, the money's important because I want to obviously quit my job so I can do this full time, but not so important that I can't give it away for a bit cheaper every now and then, like, so, because, yeah, I obviously want you guys to help.
Hopefully soon I'll be able to just open my giveaways to everyone.
Yeah, because obviously I want to help as many of you as I possibly can, and Katie wants to have as many people having her wonderful wax melts as possible.
I thought of a good idea for another giveaway for me.
Ooh.
That would be to everyone.
Nice. Let me just get back on course a little bit.
Yeah,
and then,
we need to do the live.
Yeah. And Nan says, bro, I didn't get a notification. Also, amazing costumes. Y'all got right there. I find it really difficult to say y'all. Y'all got right there. Thank you very much. And I'm fortunate about the notification, but at least you're here now, I suppose. But yeah, I am a virus nurse, and Katie is the issue with cancel culture. She says social media, but I refuse to admit that it's just social media. It's cancel culture.
It's like everything. Like basically, like tabloids and everything like that. Like you can't do anything, say anything, be anything without someone having an issue with it. So it's just void.
Yeah.
You may as well just be a void. Not really. Don't take that. But yeah, that's what my outfit's about.
Yeah. Ashley Lewis says, yes, I got it right. What's your email, man? Okay, cool. So yeah, it was Ashley Lewis. And the email is now down below. Apologies, I didn't get around to your your comment. Kate says, congrats, Ashley. Congrats, Ashley. Hedge. I like that name. Says, hey, I wonder what's the difference between law of attraction and law of assumption. They both think state of already having desire, or they don't think that. So the difference is because they both essentially do say the same thing, as in how to get your desire. They're both, one of them is mainly put your focus on something and attract it in. The other one is assume yourself to already have it and it will be created for you. So that's a very simplistic difference. Is one of them is this thing is external to me, but I can attract it in, which is law of attraction. And law of assumption is essentially I become the person who has it and that is created for me. When it comes to teachings, however, in order to attract something, you apparently have to meet it on a vibrational match, which I do not believe at all. And I think is actually quite I don't want to say misconception or a misinformation, because the law of attraction has its ways. The reason why I don't like that is because they say that if you're not a vibrational match for your thing, you can't get it, which means you can't be unhappy, you can't be sad, you can't be anxious, you can't be depressed, you can't be fearful, you can't be anything negative in general. Otherwise, you will not manifest your specific thing in, which is not the case at all. I think you can manifest while depressed. I think you can manifest while fearful. If you're fearful and depressed about the topic you're trying to manifest, I don't think you will. But if you are just depressed in general, then I think everything okay? Yeah. Okay. Then I think that yes, you can still can, which is why I don't believe in law of attraction content more than anything. But that is essentially the simplistic breakdown for the two. D says, yeah, you can't miss your manifestation, like it will find you unless, of course, you choose to no longer experience it. Absolutely. Ashley Lewis says, thank you, Katie. About something. Carolina says, thanks for your answers. Sorry there were so many. I was just starting to panic a bit. Thank you. You're very welcome. It's absolutely fine. That's obviously what we do these lives for, to try and help as many people as possible. Ishita says, what to do if I can't stop thinking about third party and my SP because we work at the same place? Can I just manifest a breakup for him to come back to me? So my advice, I highly recommend you don't focus on the third party to any extent. The reason being, where your focus goes, energy flows. And if you're trying to affirm a breakup, let me say, like, I don't know, Katie and me break up. That was a bad example. Let me say Katie and Rogan break up. I'm placing focus on breaking them up, therefore assuming them to be together in the first place. If they are together, that's the only way that I would then try to assume them to break up, which means you're placing your focus on them in this relationship. So your best bet is to, instead of placing the focus on them to break them up, is to focus on your person with you and become the version of yourself who has this person and who's not fearful of a third party, which I'll get onto in a second. But the reason that you want to do this is because in the reality where you have your person, there is clearly no room for the third party. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this relationship. So that's why you want to focus on that, because the end result implies the third party falling off anyway. The way to work on a third party is to understand why they're there. A third party 9 times out of 10 is there to show you stuff about yourself. Are you fearful of them moving on? Do you not feel good enough? Do you feel like maybe you could be replaced? Get clear on what kind of things are being brought to light by this third party, and then start to shift your assumptions on them about yourself. And this way you will ease off a little bit on the fear and the panic against third party, because you will no longer feel inferior to them, and therefore it'll be easier for you to live in the end. But ultimately, take your focus off of the third party and place it on the reality where you and your specific person are together, because the third party must fall off in order for you to be back with your specific person. MK says, can the fake letter thing work for SP? If I write a letter of what I'd want my SP to say to me and send it to myself, will I get what I've wrote? How does this work? A bit more clarity, please. So I think, personally, I think you'd probably have to do it a couple of times, just purely because it's the repetition. I think it would probably be quite an effective tool to utilize, but I don't know necessarily whether just doing it once will work. But yeah, essentially it would be writing a letter as if you're your specific person, telling yourself what you would want your specific person to say. So it might be stuff like, dear MK, I made a massive mistake. I love the heels off of you. You're amazing. I can't wait to see you. I hope we can try this again. And that would be the letter. And then you would send it to yourself, and then you would read it as if you're reading it from them, and then really dwell in it. Like, oh my God, look, they clearly love me. This is amazing. This is how they feel about me. Everything is amazing. And kind of, you might need to do it a couple of times, but that's all it essentially is. It's just them sending you a letter. You write out the letter, send it to yourself, basically. Or type it out on your phone and send it to yourself, or type it out in, I don't know. Yeah, those kind of things. Alan says, have you tried using subs for anything besides money? Yes, I've used subs for physique. I've used subs for relationship. I've used subs for masculine energy. I've used subs for money. I tested the so this is a bit of like a weird thing for me to talk about on an LOA stream, but I'm open here. As many of you would know if you've seen my Becoming Something Better channel, and I think I have mentioned it on this channel, I do not watch porn under any circumstance. I'm completely anti everything, because I don't believe in short-term dopamine release, and I believe that it's very dangerous for your brain to continuously consume pornography. However, I am still a person, and therefore on occasion will have urges and will have like, one video won't hurt. There is actually a subliminal on this app, which is to help you get over porn addiction. Now, I don't have a porn addiction because I've managed to quit that already off of my own accord. But when I was going through this mini phase of like, one video won't hurt, what's the worst that can happen sort of thing, I put the subliminal on because I really didn't want to break what I stand so strongly against. And within 20 minutes of listening to this subliminal, the thoughts of it had completely gone, and I haven't actually had a thought about it since. So there's an actually very personal one for you. So yes, I've had a lot of successes with subliminals that have been aside for money. I talk about money the most because at the moment it is the thing that I'm focusing on the most. In order for me to be able to quit my job and do this full time, I obviously need a more stable and sort of increased income. So that's why money is usually the example that I go to the most, because it's the thing that I am currently focusing on the most. And obviously I'm not at my end result yet, but every month, I think near enough since I started this business, has been more income than the previous month. So I'm on the right track. I jumped. John M says, from a guy's point of view, if you occasionally text an SP where there's a third party, is that just beta or pathetic? Like you're just waiting around being desperate. So, okay, so you've asked me for a guy's point of view and not an LOA perspective. So I'll answer this. Let me think. I think it depends on the dynamic. So I think it depends on one, how you're texting them. If you're texting them saying stuff like, are you sorting food out?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
trying to. I can't actually get out because you've managed to block me in between like the.
Yeah, I'll answer this question in a second, but if we could just hold off on questions for now, and I'll answer any that are there, just because our dinner's near enough ready and I've got to go head off. But yeah, so from a guy's perspective, if you're sitting there saying stuff like, you know, I've always loved you, I think you're amazing, like, when are you going to leave him for me, like that kind of stuff, yes. If I'm being honest, I don't like the term alpha, beta, sigma, coconut, whatever kind of term you want to use, but just purely because I think I think they've kind of lost their meaning over the years. But I would say that kind of behavior is slightly beta, if I'm honest. And since we're talking about since we're talking about guys' perspective instead of LOA perspective, I would say that if you're sitting around waiting for one specific person while they're with someone else and sort of keep on texting them, and this is from a guy's perspective, I have no problem with this from an LOA perspective because you can live from an end, but I do have that side of me that still thinks like logically and from a 3D perspective. And since you've specifically asked for that, I'm giving that advice. I think you should be living your life and living in the end, but living your life. Go talk to other people if you want to. If you want to continue talking to them, by all means. I don't think it's beta unless you are acting like a beta, basically. But yeah, my LOA perspective, because I might as well give it, because it's obviously an LOA channel, is you can still live in the end. But I do think that sitting around waiting for them is not the best idea, even from an LOA perspective. I think live in the end, but live your life as well. And yeah, I do have a lot of guy opinions on a lot of this stuff. So that's what the Becoming Something Better channel is for. If you guys are interested, go check out the description of this video, and it's got the links to it in there. There's a lot more to it than just talking about women. There will obviously be habits to create a better life and all this kind of stuff. But I will touch on sort of how men should handle dealing with women from my perspective. AH says, yeah, it was toxic. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Carolina says, do you think regulating your nervous system before doing any technique is important, or would doing a technique, no matter how you feel, work the same? Now, I do recommend that you at least get yourself to a neutral point. I do sort of say quite regularly to, you know, take a few deep breaths, calm yourself down, and then start affirming. So I would say regulating the nervous system is probably better utilized than it isn't, basically. Alan says, do you guys believe in aliens? I do. I think the idea that we are in a universe that is infinitely expanding, bearing in mind multiple realities as well, but this universe is infinitely expanded. There are 8 planets in our solar system alone, and there are billions of solar systems in this galaxy alone, and there are billions of galaxies in this universe alone. So I think the idea of us being the only form of life that exists in this universe is minuscule. I don't even think you could consider it a percentage. On the flip side of that, especially considering that what we're made up of, like carbon, is pretty easy to find. What is on this planet that creates life is actually pretty easy to find in the universe as a whole. So I think that the idea of there not being aliens is ridiculous. However, saying that, I think if there was no aliens, that would be absolutely fucking terrifying. Because if you think about it, the vastness of this universe, and we are the only things that exist that are a life form, that's terrifying in itself. I genuinely think that's more terrifying than the idea of aliens, but who knows? But yeah, I do believe in aliens. I believe that there are aliens that have long-lived furtherness. I believe there are probably even aliens that are extinct. Like, they've advanced so far that they've ended up wiping themselves out. But yeah, 100% I'm on board with aliens. Dev says, law of attraction believe in free will, right? Yep, they do. John M says, the vibration thing is because of Joe Dispenza, which really isn't that great. Who isn't that great? Yeah, see, I like some of Joe Dispenza's stuff. I haven't always said nicest things about him. If you go back and check one of my earlier streams, I did kind of go at, it wasn't really that much, but I did kind of disagree quite heavily with Joe Dispenza. But I did decide to watch a lot more content to make sure that I wasn't just being ridiculous. And I do still stand by a lot of what I said, but I think that if you can ignore the sort of weird vibration-y shit that he talks about, at least his meditations and stuff can be quite helpful. But yes, I am more on board with any law of assumption coach over Joe Dispenza, basically. That's not to put his work down, just my personal opinion. He obviously clearly got where he was by sort of, you know, giving the masses enough good information in order for them to follow him. So, but then again, Hitler. So that was an awful thing to say, but you know what I mean? You don't need to be a good person to get a following. So, yeah. Fucking hell. John M says, oh no, I already answered that. Sprinkle Peace Donor says, I just wanted to say Katie's reading was so helpful. Thank you, Katie. Katie, yeah. Sprinkle Peace Donor said your reading was so helpful and thank you. Oh, you're welcome. She said, oh, you're welcome, and then clapped. John M says, always use the golden rule. What's the golden rule? Do you say that further below? Can I just say that and then not say what the golden rule is? Oh, it jumped. Dev says, my friends think that I'm being delusional because I can't manifest my SP because of karma and it's one-sided. How do I prove my friend that it's scientifically proven you can manifest a specific person? Well, you can either go to basically most LOA coaches, myself, Living from the End with Jay. I think he's now changed it to like God of LOA or something like that. Corey T, Naya. Those are some just off the top of my head who have manifested their specific people. So you can either go to them and tell them our stories and say, obviously, I know it's not scientifically proven, but you can sort of say if these people have done it, then why can't I, sort of thing. From a science perspective, there isn't much documentation on manifesting specific people as far as I'm aware. I think science probably has bigger things to worry about. I would personally just tell your friend to fuck off. I would just tell just do you in it. Like if he doesn't want to believe it, he doesn't want to believe it. And there's no reason why he should A, be putting you down, and B, you should be listening to him. For example, I was in the gym the other day with my friend and like my closest friend, and he literally like point blank looked me dead in the face and he said like, I don't believe in LOA. Basically, it wasn't exactly in that words, but we were talking about channels and stuff and business stuff. And he basically said that like he watches this channel to support and like the videos and stuff, but he was just like the LOA stuff isn't for him. And that was it. That was fine. It wasn't a case of, I think you should stop doing the channel because I don't believe in it. It was literally just, this is my opinion. And then I was like, yeah, no, I mean, it's not for everyone sort of thing. That's why I've got the other channel to do in general mindset. That's all it should be. I don't think the friends should ever put people down. I think they should help. So if you're like actively tearing yourself up, trying to force this and you're getting clearly depressed and you're losing your hair and all that kind of stuff, then sure, I think your friends should step in and be like, mate, you need to sort it. But if you're just kind of doing you and just kind of doing it as well, like manifesting a specific person, then there's no reason why your friends should get involved and tell you something. And there's no reason why you should have to prove anything to them. So I would say you can utilize us, but as for scientific evidence, I wouldn't say there's much for specific people. There's obviously scientific evidence of where your focus goes, energy flows. I mean, string theory is one of those things. And not string theory, sorry, the slit experiment is one of those things. When it was observed as a wave. When it was observed in another sense, it was observed as a, what was the other thing that was observed at? It was something else, but show them the slit experiment and show them where energy flows, focus goes. Other way around, focus goes, energy flows. Kate says, if I feel normal / stable when I'm in a healthy romantic relationship, then does living in the end means I can just feel normal and log on with my life while manifesting SP? Yeah, and just do the sort of thinking and feeling from the end. So thinking about what you're going to do when you get home and see your specific person, thinking about, oh, there's this amazing meme, I can show my specific person this, and just things like that. But yeah, you haven't got to go above and beyond. It's just becoming a new version. It's just becoming the person who has what you want, basically. Random name says, be careful about toxic subliminals. I hate subliminals that affirm obsession. My SP cries over me. So this app doesn't, if you're referring to the app, this app doesn't speak about like what affirmations are used in it, but because it's a professionally made app, I would like to think that they are doing it quite well. And like I said, I've only had positive stuff from myself, but I would absolutely agree with that. Like stuff on the internet, like the YouTube and stuff, you should definitely keep an eye on. And yes, I do agree. Stuff like my SP cries over me, or my SP can't live without me, can't breathe without me. I think they are kind of dangerous affirmations. I think that they can roll in results that you definitely don't want. So yeah, I also agree. Keep a good eye on the affirmations that are being said in these subliminals, or they're hidden affirmations, aren't they, essentially? Alan says, do you think quitting porn will help with self-concept? 100%. 100%. Let me explain this. When you watch porn, whether you're a female or male, but I'm going to go with male just for, obviously, because I'm male, you wire your brain for short-term dopamine releases, which means doing anything long-winded no longer becomes an attractive task for you, because why would you bother reading a book that might take a week when you could go spend a couple of minutes watching porn and you get the same dopamine release. Now, I would argue that reading a book or, hitting a PR in the gym or anything like that takes effort releases a higher dopamine release. But let's say it takes me a month to hit a PR. I get a big dopamine spike that's maybe, let's say 150% of a dopamine spike once a month. Or I can get every single day by watching porn a 75% dopamine release. My brain is going to go, let's just have 75% every single day. It might not be as good, but we're getting it more regularly. This ties into self-concept because when you're no longer giving into short-term releases, you're not only improving discipline, but you also, because of the testosterone levels, are increasing your confidence. Now, this is all backed by science as well, like that your testosterone when consuming porn does drop, and there's a whole load of stuff. I'm not going to go into that because it's an LOA channel, but it has been proven that confidence levels in guys especially drop when you actively watch porn because your testosterone levels drop, which causes your confidence levels to also drop because you are no longer harboring that hormone that makes you basically a man, shall we say. So yes, it 100% helps with self-concept for way more reasons than just confidence, but also for the fact of it builds discipline. It builds on the idea of long-term gratification, which also helps in self-concept because it means that you can start seeing yourself in a better light. Because let's face it, guys, and we can all agree that when you're done, you feel like shit. So even just in that perspective alone. But for all the females watching this, apologies. But yeah. And they thems.
No, it's just like a second ago you was like males or females or they thems or whatever, like you identify as just.
Dev says, true, I hate when my SP cries even though it is cute, but still I agree. It's not even like that meme. That's not ridiculous to say. It's not ridiculous to say that. Like, I get it. Monica Santos says, hi guys, howdy. Tambi says, hey guys, today I saw a video where the girl looked exactly like my SP in the video. She was talking to her mum and she said she loves someone. It was very cringe, but it felt like she was talking about me. Use it. Okay, why not? Like, go for it.
We were talking about that the other day as well, weren't we? With like films and things. Like, if you can really sort of like get into a film and feel like it's you, or like getting into a book or like a song or something. So yeah, I think like seeing like things that remind you of your person and then like portraying really good things that you want to hear and want to feel and want to see, then yeah, feel into them, get into them.
Absolutely. Alice says, I think that would be more terrifying. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. I think what would be more terrifying would be if we explored another solar system and there was only other humans. Yeah, that would also be pretty scary because we also know that humans are very dangerous creatures and would probably try to fuck us up on sight. So yeah, that would also be pretty weird. I think what would be just slightly stranger is if they were humans, but with a slightly different feature. Like, let's say, for example, their like eyes were all black instead of like ours. Just one little slight difference that just makes it so that, because I feel like if we see other humans and they don't try to kill us, we'd probably just kind of like get along after a while. Like, we'd be like, oh, you're just another human, But if it was like another human with just pure black eyes or like something just slightly different where it makes it obvious that they're not quite the humans from Earth, I think that would really be like, ugh. That made me cringe a bit. D says, I've been wanting to reach out to SP. How long do they know, by the way?
It's pretty much done.
Okay, I'm going to have to kind of rush through these. So no more questions or comments for the moment, please, because my dinner's pretty much ready. But I will answer these. D says, I've been wanting to reach out to SP for a fair bit today. Fair bit today, and I just don't know if I should or stick to my guns about him reaching out to me. 9 times out of 10, I will say to stick to your guns, but I suppose the best thing that you can do is justify the situation to yourself. If it's something that genuinely would be a good option, do it. But 9 times out of 10, I say just stick to your guns. Tambi says, I was cringing so bad at the video, but was also so happy thinking she was talking about me. Yeah, I mean, like you say, utilize it. It may be cringy, but that's what love is. Love is cringy.
Super cringe, but it's great.
John M says, the golden rule equals do unto others as you would have done unto you. Basically, karma. Yeah, agreed. I don't treat anybody how you wouldn't want to be treated. Absolutely. Tambi says, at D, if you have ever have a doubt about reaching out to them, then do not reach out, work on yourself, and then you can decide if you want to. Absolutely. That was a better answer than what I gave. Dev says, I told him about you guys, but he says it's from internet. They might be lying and talking and taking other people's money. Basically, I just ignore him. I mean, yeah, there is that perspective that there might be people that are lying about it. Sure. I've given too much coaching away for free to be taking people's money as a scam. And I obviously have my success story here. So yeah, I can see his perspective, but yeah, I'd say just ignore him. It's not going to benefit you. D says, at Tam B, you're right. I just had something come up that made me like want to reach out to someone, and he's obviously my best friend too. But just taking the time to calm down made me feel better already. That's good to hear. I'm glad you took that time. Good job. Dev says, he told me life is hard. People don't get what they want, and that's how life is unfair. Well, I'm getting what I want. A lot of people in this thing are getting what they want.
He will never, if he has that perspective on life, he will never get anything that he wants, because he will just have that assumption forever that life's hard and you don't get what you want. So yeah. And some people, as much as you want to save everyone around you and want them to do the best that they possibly can, there are people that will just never leave that mentality. Like, I know people who always have drama going on, and the one thing that they always say about it is, well, you know, it's me. I always have that. Or, you know, something bad will happen and they go, wow, you know, another thing's going to happen next and stuff like that. And they're just people who can't be like helped. And one thing I like to do when I'm talking about like law of assumption and stuff is to say, you know, just having a positive outlook can massively change things. And actually some people start to clock onto that and go, yeah, you know, shit's happened, but it will get better, sort of thing. And then it does get better for them. And then that's where they start to realize it. And yeah, I think for people who aren't ready to accept law of assumption as being a thing and being real, just need to sort of just change from, oh, you know, everything's shit and it always will be, to, oh, it's shit right now, but it might get better. And then slowly it starts to get better and it gets better and it gets better. And that's when people really sort of, they might not necessarily then dive straight into law of assumption and be like, yep, that's what I'm doing now. But they will be able to understand it a bit better from your perspective.
Yeah.
Also, I think I'm stained and I'm really worried about my face.
Oh no. I got to go to my office tomorrow and I've got a lady leaning back.
I got to go to work with void written across my head.
Yeah, but your fault. D says, at Dev, I mean, the observer effect is proof because we're all atoms anyway, so perception shapes reality. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was trying to say with the slit experiment. I just couldn't think of what it was that I was actually trying to say. Dev says, God, he's limiting because he's experienced it. Yeah, essentially people, I mean, if people have a negative outlook, they get negative things, which makes it very easy for them to keep their negative outlook. Tambi says, at D, bro, my SP is also my best friend, laugh my ass off. Pratyush, apologies if I said that wrong. Hello, both of you. Hello, howdy, glad to have you here. Anna says, do you participate in No Nut November? I never have before, but I am this year. Sticking to it. 30 days. Let's do this. Avengers! How does he do it? It's like unite. I can't remember what he does. But yeah, I'm getting involved. I can't. You can. I'll just do what you want. Dev says, I don't feel guilty. Wait, am I girl? What? Dev says, I don't feel guilty. Wait, am I girl? I don't know what you mean by that. I know I said no more comments, but could you let me know what you mean by that, please? Hashan says, hey, every dream I'm having these days is opposite of my desire. It's like a horrible dream. I just think of this as middle. Yeah, absolutely. Always utilize, like, basically saying this isn't true for me as a way to describe it. Carolina says, how does readings work? Do you feel the energy and go off that? And if so, is it harder to read someone online rather than in person? So from my end, it'd probably be easier for, let me get Katie back in on this one because she'll know more than me because she's the one that does them. D says, did you tell your partner you manifested them back, and how did you react when they freaked out? Yes, I told Katie. I can't remember when I told Katie. I can't even remember how Katie reacted. But as she is here talking about her experiences with me, you can probably imagine that she's kind of on board with it. Did you freak out? I can't even remember. When I told you.
So not externally, a little bit internally. I'm not going to lie to you. We will at some point go into massive depth about all of this subject. And there will be like my full perspective on it and everything like that.
Working on a course.
But I did have some kind of funny feeling. He didn't tell me straight away. It was much further into it. And there was some sort of like funny emotions to begin with that I was like, hold on, was that not my choice then? And like, you know, like little tiny questions and stuff like that. But I will sort of explain it. It wasn't necessarily a negative response, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like I was like, what the fuck? Like, how dare you, or anything. It was sort of like a few questions popped up in my brain, and I was like, but like it didn't change my overall perspective, if that makes sense. But yeah, there will be at some point a much more in-depth, like, where I will go into all, because I've only just now become like confident and okay with kind of talking about it, because I didn't like the whole subject. I didn't like the breakup. I didn't like the bits after. I didn't like talking about any part of it or anything like that. But I now feel a lot more, I guess, like stable and comfortable with talking about the situation. So at some point, once the course, we've worked out how it will be and everything like that, there will be my side, my full side of the story and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm currently in the process of planning the courses outline. So it's not going to be one of those ridiculous courses that's like 150 quid to get on. There's going to be two. There's going to be the one, which is the main one, which involves like, I'm thinking about doing like daily challenges for like a month, plus a Q&A at the end where like any question is open for, and there'll be like mild coaching involved. And then there'll be like a resale one where people can buy the course that has all like the slides and the videos and stuff, but obviously the challenges and the Q&A won't be part of it. So there's going to be two, and it's not going to be stupidly expensive. So don't worry about that.
I have another question to ask.
Yes, you did.
How does the readings work? Do you feel the energy and go off with that? And so is it harder to read someone online rather than in person? So no, it's not harder to read somebody like online. What was harder was working out like the logistics of how to get it across. So like the first few that I did, I like wasn't sure how I could get the full message like across, sort of thing. So like the way that I do it is I can either film the actual whole reading where I'm just talking through it, or I can do the full reading, take photos of everything that was pulled out, and then explain it in like detail in an email to you. But no, it's not harder to actually get like the energy or anything like that. It's like I like to have like a bit of your story. I like to have your like full name. If you want to give your like SP's name, then that helps. But if not, I know that you're talking about your person anyway. So like the questions about, you know, how you're feeling, how they're feeling, how they feel towards you, how they how things will move forward, and sort of like how, if there's anything else that you need to know, if there's anything like from your life going on around you that you need to sort of like cut out, anything that's like negative, or sort of basically the things that you need to work on or anything like that.
Yeah, it's good old giggly goo. Pratyesh says, any advice for no contact? So I'm assuming you mean to go from no contact to in a relationship, or to get contact. My advice goes straight to the relationship. The contact will happen as a result. The way that you do this is you get clear on what you want. So the relationship, like how you want the relationship to look, create scenes and statements that imply that you have this thing. Utilize the morning and night when your subconscious mind is most receptive, and repeat these scenes and statements to yourself until you feel a level of fulfillment as though it is actually yours. And then as you go throughout your day, if you have thoughts about your desire or anything contrary to your desire, try to ask yourself how you would think and feel and act if you were the person who had this desire, and then consciously think and feel and act in that way. It's a very like quick sort of run over, just because I've like obviously got to go soon. But yeah, very simplistic. That's the way to do it. You just basically want to repeat to yourself and impress your subconscious mind with the idea that you are in contact or you are in this relationship.
Right, I'm dipping out because I need to go and sort out the food.
No worries.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
Dev says, you said when do the thing, they feel guilty, but I don't do it. Am I a girl now? Oh, I guess so. There's no other explanation. Heshan says, yep, no, not November, just edging. I'm not even going to do that. Like, I've never done edging before. Not really my cup of tea, but I'm solid on November. So as from now, you're going to gradually see me become more and more depressed over the next couple of streams. Thank you all for watching. To Ashley Lewis and the other person who won, I do apologize. I've forgotten your name off the top of my head. Oh, now I feel like a bad person. Geetha, that's it. To Ashley Lewis and Geetha, if you could email me at lawofassumptionsbackdoor.com at gmail.com. We can work out on getting you the 20% discount, Ashley, and the free wax melt gift box, Geetha. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in my second channel, Becoming Something Better, go check that out. If you're interested in coaching with me, check my website out, lawofassumptionsbackdoor.com. If you're interested in Katie's stuff, go check her YouTube out, which is Cat's Wax. With all that said, thank you all for showing up to this Halloween special, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.